I hope this project will also lead people to supporting the arts more and knowing that it's something that art is for everyone to appreciate.
Art doesn't have to be all that deep sometimes. Sometimes it can be just fun and experimental and just be art that everyone can consume and access. Yeah.
And I think the keywords is really like intuition, accessibility, and the whole idea of it being welcoming. Hi, I'm Luna, and I just graduated from BA Fine Arts at LaSalle College of the Arts. And so I do pride myself as like a multidisciplinary artist, and mostly I work on like photography and digital media, a lot of lens-based works. So a lot of topics that I delve in so far are like queer communities, digital realms, and cyberhumanism. My most recent work was my graduation showcase at LaSalle. So that was when I did something on queer existence and identity.
So my name is Yiling. I recently also graduated from my 4-year BFA program. I majored in photography at NTU ADM. Usually I dabble in photography, also writing in poetry and performance. The themes that I like to explore are humanness, intimacy, vulnerability, and sometimes gender. My recent final year project show, which was at Hello Trans, was about object language and how signs of human intimacy can be formed in how objects relate to one another. I am currently doing a traineeship at DEC.
So next, let's talk about your experiences with Waterloo Street.
The first time I came here was in 2018. In 2020, I was interning with DEC, and I was always around the area, like getting food from Fortune Centre, and I think I would always walk past places like Objectives and Stanford's Art Centre, and I wasn't really sure what they did and all that. My campus was nearby, so I did take the time to go and explore the area a bit and realize how vibrant and tranquil it was for me.
So I used to come here a lot, mostly for art performances and art exhibitions. And then after that, Objectives, when I did the youth mentorship program. This was in 2021, I believe. And then now with DEC, which is over here as well. So I've just always been circling this area. So that's my relationship with Waterloo. Yeah.
Both of you were from the Young Photographers program, right?
Like the mentorship program, is it? Oh, yeah, so it's under Objectives. I was in the batch of 2021, the youth mentorship.
Young Photographers.
Yeah. sorry. Young Photographers mentorship program. Okay, yeah. So, because it was termed differently when I was there. So when I was in, okay, confused, okay. When I was in, it was branded as Shooting Home Youth Awards. That's why. And then after that, when Luna was in the batch that came after, then it was rebranded as YPMP. Yeah. And then we also came back the year after as TA, so teacher assistants.
I would like to know as well why you applied to be part of this project and what you hope to achieve from it.
I think a big part of me really chose to apply because I wanted to be more involved with Objectives. I did want to have this continuity with them and be more involved with the people who have given me so much as well.
For me, it was a bit different because I was invited as a collaborator instead, so I didn't personally apply in. It was interesting to me because Luna and I have very different image styles. Yeah, so I thought it was interesting to see how we could work together. And I think for me personally, it was finding a space for myself after graduation. I think there's also not a lot of opportunities for young artists to be able to have the chance to produce something, to have a time dedicated to art making specifically. So I think this was a really nice opportunity for me to grow outside of my voicings when I was still in the education sphere.
So tell me what this project is about and maybe describe it in your own words.
Okay, so I'm working on 2 projects. So one of it is the Welcome to Waterloo zine. The zine focuses on having people take photos with their phone in a more intentional and nuanced way. So also to focus more on being aware of the different techniques, the different places they can explore, and how powerful this device is, how accessible it has been photography. For the project that both of us are working on together, it's a photo collage. It's less conceptual. It focuses more on the visual elements, the visual aspects of Waterloo as a street and a community. Something I wanted to do was to really really maximize all the visuals that I have experienced and also know more about Yiling's take on it.
It's a lot to do with the idea and thematic concern of play. I think the theme that we were given this year was also interplay. Then we're like, okay, then just play lor, you know.
Yeah.
And then we just see how the different spaces within Waterloo interrelate, but also how they don't. I think because there's a lot of visual elements within the Waterloo area that we felt were quite interesting to play off of.
And I think the keywords is really like intuition, accessibility, and the whole idea of it being welcoming. And I also do want to shine light on other art spaces within Waterloo, and I think this is like a very good opportunity to make these spaces known to people.
So why is this the approach you are taking for the theme?
I think my idea burst from like looking at the very vibrant communities around Waterloo. So like what Yiling said, like art spaces, theatre activations, but aside from that, there's also like places of worship, cafes, independent businesses. It was very interesting to see how this community like comes together, and I wanted to use like art as a binding agent.
I think adding on to that also, we both share the same sentiment, which is that sometimes art doesn't have to be very serious. Like it doesn't have to be that deep, you know. I think because we wanted to bring out this element of play, because sometimes it can be just fun and experimental and just be art that everyone can consume and access. Yeah.
Apart from exploring the differences in your visual style, what compelled you to take this particular direction?
And for creative direction, I think like what Yiling said, it's about play, and I wanted to be as playful as possible. Not just like fun for the audiences, but I want Yiling and I to have fun also. So I think the driving factor is fun and play. I think it does come in play with like not just the creative direction, but also my values I have when it comes to arts management, which is once again accessibility. I think for accessibility, like it's very intersectional and there's many things that I have to look out for, but I think some of the basic things will just be pitch it in a way that it's not much like art lingo. It's also like, oh, you can do activities without having a DSLR. A bit about mobility, things that don't require people to like run up and down.
What are some things you've been enjoying about the process?
Company,
wow, yeah!
I think I really enjoy the space, like just being in the space, getting more acquainted with this area that like I claim to love so much, but really I don't know that much about. So have been enjoying my time spent at Objectives, working with the staff also, and I think the greatest takeaway for me is just getting to know people that I've been working with more on a more personal level.
For me, what I'm enjoying, I think previously, at least in my university education, it was always like solo working, especially as a photographer. So it's interesting, and also I appreciate that now I have other voices and other perspectives, especially Luna's, to like contribute to the makings of my own work.
Yeah, on that note also I feel like art practice or like working in arts in general is actually quite isolating. So I do see this as a very good opportunity to step out of this like isolation and really get to know how my practice will evolve with more people and influences around me.
We approach the Waterloo space a bit differently because Luna is now engaged with the art practice, whereas me is like my workplace is the Waterloo Street. So I approach this area more like a space that I come to for work. So then it changes the way I take images and it changes the way I see the visual notations within the area.
Okay, for anyone coming down to Objectives in Waterloo Street during Nightfest, what do you hope for them to take away when they encounter the project?
I feel like I do have different ideals for people who are already in the arts and people who are less acquainted with the arts also. So for people who are already in the arts, like it's really just to get to know this area more, get to know what Objectives, Center for You Do, theatre practice, like these arts and theatres company really do and how they contribute to the art scene. I think part of it is also wanting people to recognize photography as an art form and how they can also be a part of it. And for people who are not as acquainted with the arts, I do hope that they see this as like a gateway into the arts. It links back to the whole idea of like accessibility and how they come here just to experience the space, experience how art can add layers to the experience.
I think Luna said a lot of good things, but as long as they enjoy the work in some capacity, but even if they don't, then that's fine. You know, it's like art can be just placed again, to add a layer of personality to a space. If it serves to just like beautify this area, if it serves to just draw people in because it's visually eye-catching, and then in turn they are introduced to the Waterloo area, then so be it, Lord.
So people think like even if they leave not liking the work, at least they realize something about themselves.
Yeah, correct,
So
exactly. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
still
yeah.
a gain for like everyone.
Mm.